Hey there, my name is Henrike Schmidt. I am the Whole Brain Coach, and I produce videos here on YouTube about neurocoaching and science-based strategies for everyday life. Today is another episode on cognitive biases, and today it's time for the big one. It's cognitive dissonance, or the illusion of rational thinking, and how you can use it to have other people convince themselves that they like you. Are you curious? Stay tuned. So cognitive dissonance, what does it mean? All right. So cognitive dissonance is when what you think and what you do or what you perceive in your reality as reality doesn't match up. Sometimes it's two different thinking processes that don't match up. And it creates this dissonance, this sense of uncomfortable unease. And that feeling doesn't necessarily have to be conscious. It can just be something eerie, gut feeling-y, intuition-y lying underneath it. So what do you do when you sense this dissonance, this uncomfortable feeling? Well, you change the way you think, because it's much easier than changing reality. Probably the most famous example of cognitive dissonance is one of Aesop's fables, and it's the fable of the fox and the grapes. A little side note, I don't know why he uses fox, because I don't think foxes eat grapes. Anyway, the fox sees these bunches of really ripe, juicy grapes hanging just above his head. And he decides he wants those grapes. He wants them really, really badly. But no matter how high he jumps, how much he strains, he cannot reach the grapes. So what does the fox do? Correct. He convinces himself that the grapes weren't ripe after all. It's not even that he doesn't want them. It's that the grapes aren't worth having. So the same process plays out whenever you are being rejected. So this could be, for example, you've applied for a job that you really, really want, that you really think is going to be great, but you don't get it. So then in the end, you convince yourself that actually, maybe the company culture wasn't what you were looking for, or the person who interviewed you, who was going to be your superior, was a bit of an a-hole, right? So like, you dodged a bullet there. Or think of this smoking hot guy or gal that you're interested in, and you chat them up, they shoot you down. And in the end, it turns out, surprisingly, that actually she had really crooked teeth and he wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. So nothing lost, right? So to sum up, what happens during cognitive dissonance? So what you think or what you desire clashes with reality. So that creates a painful sensation within you. So instead of trying to change reality, which would be really difficult, what do? You simply change the way you think. And that brings your mind and your reality back into alignment, and all is good. So here is where it gets a bit freaky, okay? Because if you ask a favor of someone, it's actually going to make them like you more. And there's actually even been research done to show that if you are asked to do a task by somebody rude, you're going to judge the activity, the task that you're doing, to be much more pleasurable than if a nice person asks you. So what is that all about? Well, first of all, the reason why, if you're asking a favor of someone, why does that make them like you? I mean, after all, that sounds kind of counterintuitive. You're asking them to do you a favor, and that makes them like you more. Win-win. So what's happening is that in the other person's mind, a little play happens, and it's going a little bit like this. If I'm doing this favor for this person, that must mean that this person is really nice, because otherwise I wouldn't be doing the favor. There we are. So if you want somebody to think of you more favorably, try and ask them to do you a favor. and see how that goes. And the other thing, if somebody rude asks you to do a task versus somebody nice, you're enjoying the task more being asked by the rude person than being asked by the nice person. Why is that? Well, I'll tell you why. Because if you're doing the task, having been asked by a really rude and obnoxious person, you're certainly not doing the task for them. You're doing the task because you like doing the task. So the task must be really enjoyable. Whereas if a nice person asks you, then you're doing it, at least in part, for that person because they were so nice. So the task doesn't have to be so pleasurable. It doesn't have to be so enjoyable for everything to be back in alignment. This is cognitive dissonance in a nutshell. It's when we bring two things back into alignment, reality and our thinking or our actions. And you can flip it on its head and ask people to do something for you first, and that will make them fix their minds to go along with what they're experiencing. So my name is Henrike Schmidt. I'm the Whole Brain Coach, and I'm here with neuro coaching and science-based strategies for everyday life every week. And somewhere around here, there should be another video for you to watch about cognitive biases. I'll see you next week. Bye.